moula m'apaise à peine. Je reviendrai jamais, partout je vois ton sourire. Je reviendrai jamais, je dois exaucer mes rêves. Je reviendrai jamais, je chante ma peine et j'oublie que je reviendrai jamais. Souviens-toi de nous, malgré le lave j'ai mis de la distance. De la distance, une chanson, les larmes au cou. Malgré le lave j'ai mis de la distance. De la distance, n'est pas qu'une question d'amour, tu le sais très bien. Je ferai tout pour te mettre à l'abri, tout ira bien. Je veux plus retourner dans le piège, non plus jamais. Donne-moi juste une lueur d'espoir. Crois dans tous tes bras que je t'emmène. Moi j'ai fait de mon mieux pour te faciliter la vie. À toi de faire ton choix. L'amour là m'apaise à peine. Je reviendrai jamais, partout je vois ton sourire. Je reviendrai jamais, je dois exaucer mes rêves. Je reviendrai jamais, je chante ma peine et j'oublie que je reviendrai jamais.
Which workshop was the one who you discovered something that you had no idea before?
Each one builds upon the other. So without the first workshop to awaken the inner child, and without the second workshop to remove the shards of pain that are inside of you, without the succession of those two, I would have never rediscovered my past as such. Because I was living each day in this hyper-present reality where I was siphoning everything that had happened up until that point into my subconscious. So deep, deep repression. So with the first workshop, discovering the inner child, and the second workshop of removing these painful bodies that are inside of you, I was able to rediscover my childhood home and my childhood school and my grandparents' childhood home, and really see who I was for the first time in that long part of my life, which was extremely emotional because every day I know that I've had a childhood, but I don't know what that childhood has been. And all of a sudden, it was clear as day. And I don't know how it would have happened without the workshop. I recovered intense amount of pain, but through recovering that intense amount of pain, I also recovered the joy that was taken away from me as a result of that pain. And so everything that happened, bullying from my brother, which as an adult you might be able to process very rationally, was an indication that I was undeserving of love and that I was about to die, in danger of dying. That I wasn't worthy, that I didn't belong on this earth, and that I deserved to continue suffering and hurting myself because that's what the child deserved.
Now you feel completely free of all that decisions?
I think for the next little while at least, I'll be catching myself in playing out those previous habits of fear and pain and suffering, only to realize that they don't apply.
Especially to pay attention, what are you talking to yourself?
Exactly.
Because of course you will have problems.
Yes.
What do you say to yourself about that problem?
Yes.
No, because it's like a self-hypnosis. We are saying that and then we believe it again.
Absolutely. And I know that our beliefs are the fundamental attributes that dictate all of our judgments and our reactions. But up until then, every time I said, yes, you're deserving of pain. Yes, you're not worthy. And those were things I really believed. And now the story is completely changed. And that belief has just been entirely stripped away, right? So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we need to have the energy to be awake, to see when it starts happening again and stop immediately. No. You have the power. You are not passive here. You can say no. I don't believe
Every single
it.
reaction is a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Like even like the idea of having like a drop of alcohol or any addictive substance, I felt ayahuasca just melting all of that away, and I am going to continue my path, because I mentioned to you during the retreat that I'm going to do a yoga retreat after, as a part of aftercare, because I didn't do that the first time I came here. So I really want to put all the cards in the right spot, like make the right decisions. So
to be coherent.
Coherent, yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of people come here, do the retreat, they had a wonderful experience, they are super clean, and then they jump into Itacaré, party, everything again, and then they regret because they lost the connection very quickly. But if you continue with the healthy lifestyle, you are connected with ayahuasca. You keep receiving the insights, the information. But if not, you lost quickly.
Yeah.
So it's up to you always. It's not magic that you will have everything resolved. You have to do your work.
Yeah.
I think the beauty of Spirit Divine and what we've got here, it isn't just a matter of, here, have some ayahuasca, there you go, see what you can see. It's about everything. It's about, what you put into your mind, into your body, both food, drink, yoga, just making sure you're physically doing well. And all these things, I do the yoga and eating healthier. Over the last year, I've been trying to do anyway. Coming here, especially with the food, which is gorgeous. You just don't even think about this. There's no salt in there, or there's no sugar content in there. Although the odd occasions we had some fresh cakes, it was good without sugar. You just don't think about that because it's just so tasty. I will definitely take that bit with me back home, especially when I'm cooking at home. But I don't think I'm going to go home and I'm never going to have a drink again. But I think I'll be just more conscious, especially around binging, because it's just it's just not good for you. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when I do get back home. But I just can't see going back to
that. Is very related to heal our own wounds, because when we are exaggerating with food or drink or things that are not healthy, it's because we want to feel numb.
Yeah.
And when we need to feel numb, it's because we have pain. So in the moment you start healing the wounds of this child, understanding, receiving love, allowing this child to be happy, to come back to you are home for this child now. So you don't want to hurt yourself anymore. You don't need to be numb. So naturally you start changing.
And you've also given me the tools to help me do that when I do leave Spirit Divine. The workshops, they help guide you through your ayahuasca experience, but they also will help guide you through life. And Sylvia always saying, just remember to use your tools, the tools that I've passed on to you. And that will stay with me forever, about the tools. It's not just because I've had this 9 days experience. The ayahuasca experience itself will stay with me, I believe. And those tools definitely will. You'll be on my shoulder. Michael, use your tools.
Did you realize that sometimes when we are very damaged, we refuse love? That sometimes we have, all the families have their problems, we are not perfect, but sometimes people choose to see only the bad part, the pain, all the traumatic things, and they are not seeing the rest, that there are a lot of goodness. Something like that happened to you, Roxanne?
Yeah, definitely.
How was the relationship with your adopted parents?
My relationship with my adopted parents, they are amazing parents. I mean, if I look back, they gave me so much love, but I just couldn't accept it. I remember even telling my mom near Christmas time, like, Mom, I cannot accept your love. Like, I know you're saying I love you, but it didn't hit me.
Did you believe her or not?
I didn't believe her at that point. Yeah, at that moment. But now, looking back and using your tools, I could look back at that situation and I can really feel her love. It's crazy, yeah.
What happened there? Who was the first person who made you decide I cannot trust? where your trust issues started?
I guess my inner child, when I was 3.5, you know, at that moment when I was really terrified seeing these two strangers, that no, I cannot accept love. I'm not allowed to be here. Yeah.
So a 3 years old child decide no more love for me
No more love.
for all your life,
Yeah, exactly.
and you had no idea how to change that.
Yeah. But now I've changed it. Yes, and I'm so grateful. And going back, I am definitely gonna pick up my yoga. I noticed that during this retreat, I really connected with my body, mind, and spirit. I noticed that yoga is so important. And Sylvia, I have your voice in my head. It's amazing. Like if I'm ever in doubt or in a bad situation, I'm just gonna listen to your voice. Like stop it. Yeah, yeah.
You know what? I think that what happened when you were 3 or 3.5 years old, when you knew, oh, my new parents are coming, in that moment you decided that you were not good enough.
Yeah.
So this child is unworthy. So why you will believe your adopted parents that they love you? They are lying.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much love they show you.
Yeah.
They are lying. I am not worthy.
Yeah.
So you are the only one who can discover that this little child is perfect. It's not true that you were not good enough. That is a belief, and it was a lie. When you discover that this child was perfect and lovable, and you start entering contact with this child, because at the beginning the child will refuse, no, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
But when you start entering contact and you can make eye contact and touch this child, and you see, oh, it's so cute, no? And you can give her a hug, and you can feel this love. Of course, now I can believe that I am lovable,
Yeah.
of course. But for a long time, you believe this lie.
Yeah.
Of course, it was not your fault. It was not because you are defective.
Yeah.
And we all have this belief in different degrees, always. It's common to everybody. So, but we are the key for open the door of the prison.
Yeah.
Dana, you are super sensitive, and you were super open, catching a lot of things. So how can you learn to graduate? How can you graduate? How much you feel? How much you own to people? You wanted to save people. You wanted to do their job. What happened when you want to do the job for others?
Brothers and sisters and things like that, and I remember as a young girl having to care for my mum, for an example, and it was in that moment that I made a decision that I was the protector, I was the saviour. I had to save her. I had to save my dad, I had to help their relationship, and the same with my brother as well.
How old you were when you decided that?
I would have been very young, probably 5.
So imagine 5 years old child deciding I have to save my mother, my father, my brother. Imagine what is the consequence of deciding I have to save them. Frustration, and in that moment you start feeling powerless.
Yeah. And then of course it was when they weren't being saved, it was that responsibility and the guilt that I haven't done enough. I haven't stepped in enough. I haven't done enough to help them. So it was all of their pain was because of me. I made it all entirely about myself, and as a 28-year-old woman, I see that very much of how that has progressed on with relationships. There would be other dysfunctions of people outside of myself, and I would take that on. It was something wrong with me.
A big, no?
Big way, yeah.
And probably creating health problems, no?
Yeah, absolutely. What I realised after our session together was the things that I was also feeding, this guilt and this shame, was the perfect food for these entities living inside my intestines. And that alone is so life-changing for me, because again, going back to those choices of when those thoughts come, I'm trying to, I'm sucking them out of me, but also looking at what they're doing to my body from a physical standpoint if I was to keep them here and to keep feeding them. So I think that, you know, it's beautiful to think about my habits and going home with that, because there was a part of me that I was thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to go straight back into my routine and everything. But now I have this insight and this analysis, that this want to analyze what I was actually doing and if that resonates to the woman that I am now.
Kirin, what about your pains when you were a child? You said you had a lot of fights with your brother. He was older than you.
He was older and much stronger, and was very troubled himself, probably because in our ancestry we have very traumatic story of experience with dictators and displacement from our native lands. So cultural genocide, basically. So my brother was extremely violent towards me, you know, suffocating me, primarily beating me to a pulp. Like, I'd be bruised, I'd bleed, I'd cry. So very just, you know, traumatic things for a very small, kind of weak child boy to go through.
That, you think in that moment you decided, I don't want to live, or I don't deserve to live?
Yes, absolutely.
So you were suicidal.
Yes. My whole, up until my first 10-day silent retreat last March, I was convinced that at some point I would kill myself. I didn't know when it would be, because I could bear it up until whatever day. I would learn as much as I could. I would try and heal myself as much as I could. So I did everything to try and overcome my suicidal ideation, and nothing worked. So I still had that belief that I would die, no problem. And when I did my first 10-day silent retreat, meditating, non-stop, I found the kingdom of heaven within and realized for the first time that I could live, that it was possible, that I would live and I could live. But yeah, for 25 years, I knew that I deserved to die, I was gonna die, I should die, I wanted to die.
How strong are the decisions made when you are a child? That creates the pattern of behavior. If you decided I am unworthy, then you will keep repeating this all your life.
It is a hard programmed code in your body from which you cannot escape, because that code dictates your entire patterning for time immemorial. So whatever you decide then is an imprinted reality from which you will most probably, if it is very traumatic, be blocked from, as a way for the ego to continue to propagate itself. So that code, without something like, a 10-day Vipassana, like, following the Buddha's instruction, or coming here and doing intensely painful therapeutic work with an intense psychedelic substance, ayahuasca, a plant medicine, it's almost impossible to see the program, because you're blinded from the program.
We need to produce a trance, because when we are in trauma, we enter in trance.
Yeah.
It's so unbearable that we are like hypnotized. No, we are in trance. So we need to produce a trance to go back to the same state in order to heal, to reframe the decision.
Yeah.
Okay, using the tools you have now, because you are an adult, you have power, you have resources. But when you enter in trance, you forget all of this. You don't remember. You are an adult, you have power. So we need both, to enter in trance and to remember, I have power, use it, and this is what you were doing. But we need that possibility to enter in trance and discover, wow,
Absolutely.
this is much more than this.
Because the trance produces the childlike state again, and it allows you to rewrite the code from the beginning. So when you're in the trance, you are your child again, and you have one opportunity to make a new decision, to alter your belief that has been ruling you since.
You explain it very beautifully, because a lot of people don't believe that you can change something that already happened. But we can.
Yes, you can.
We refrain, we change the decision, and because we have other powers now that we didn't have in that time, so we are mixing things.
Yeah. But I will say that this retreat, and particularly Sylvia's expertise and her work in practicing psychology for all these years, is a crucial component, because like she says, you're mixing the two. You're entering the trance, but you also have to be guided to make the decision, because it's very hard for you to understand how to make that decision yourself. And so, especially for somebody who has no psychological training of their own, and even if you do, you're blinded from your own self. That's the genius of the ego, right? It completely blocks your ability to see yourself objectively. And so combining the trance-like state, which meditation, plant medicine, a variety of things can produce, with the psychological underpinnings and knowledge to shake that child out of that initial decision.
So my third ceremony was probably the hardest and most painful for me. My first two were absolutely amazing, and it showed me so many things, and it was quite positive, and it was positive, and I sort of knew exactly which direction I should take. But the third was just literally just about darkness and death, and I saw my own deaths, and I caused pain. I saw pain in people that are dear to me. And it felt like I felt in a bit of despair whilst I was in there. And at the time, I just couldn't pull myself out. And Silva came on my shoulder and told me about the tools. And I managed to get away from that. And I spoke to Sylvia the next day. And again, it's not just the ayahuasca, it's the guidance that you provide, the guidance afterwards, that asking me, why I was in that situation, and it's, we've died, everybody does die, and it can be painful, but why was I just pulling that bit of it into my experience? And it was because I didn't think that I deserved to be saved, so just give yourself a little bit more pain, and put it back in, And it's also, having that confidence in me at the end of it, and the knowledge that I can escape that. I'm not trapped. I'm not ever trapped. I can always get out. So it's the beauty of everything that culminates or combines together here that makes it such a special place.
The first time, people come alone. The second time, you want to start bringing family. This time, you come with your partner. Well, you come with your wife, but now you are sending your sister, and your wife is talking about your son also wants to come. And you said, I will bring my parents, my brother. So you think this is something very positive, productive, that can bring freedom to people. That's why you want to bring your loved ones.
It's so safe that I feel like I don't feel like I would ever want to take ayahuasca outside of this context, because I know that it's not just taking the substance. Again, like Michael said, it's about the guidance that you provide, and also you're not telling us. You're not a guru. You're not telling us how we should be and how we should think. You're helping us discover the power within us. And I don't like. If I could go to another place, I cannot be guaranteed of that sort of same dynamic, right? So I feel extremely safe because I know your intention is pure. Everyone that works here they have pure intention, and I can feel it radiating within this space. So yes, and that's why I want to continue this healing journey with other important people in my life. Hopefully they feel up to it too. So it's their decision, not mine. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
So before coming here, I even told my mom that I'm gonna do ayahuasca, and then she even said, "Hey, okay, tell me when you come back if it's gonna help you," because she could see me that I was suffering about this whole self-love, not accepting it, and I'm definitely gonna tell her like, yeah, I made big changes, and she should definitely come here. And just the moment that I came here, I felt really home. I mean, it's such a safe space, and also the whole structure here, it's amazing. Like, yeah, it's like a nice paradise here. Yeah, seriously.
I'm the same of what these other guys said as well. Like I feel from the person that I was before, I was very in my mind. I love to know, I love to understand, and I love to analyze everything. And probably a lot more than what I was willing to admit or conscious of either. Safety for me was everything. It was the thing that made me get these life-changing breakthroughs that I've had this last 9 days. And I think that time and time again, when my head, when the voices were coming back of getting a little bit paranoid, it was just this beautiful foundation to come back on and remind myself that's okay, I doesn't need to be here. I'm here amongst people that have pure intentions, and it was truly transformative for the safety of that reason.
Well, I wanted to say that this place is impeccable, and it's a place I feel very connected to, and I'm almost positive I will continue coming back here for the rest of my life. And I'm not sure if I will continue taking ayahuasca for the rest of my life, because I think it's possible to achieve these states without it. But to be in this land and to be in this environment is, it's almost what this experience is about, with or without the plant medicine. So I'm going to bring my family here, and I'm excited for them to experience it, all of us all together. But it's worth everything to come here.
You know that the ayahuasca experience is not mandatory. Some people, for medical reasons or because they already have a lot of experience, they come here mainly for the workshops and the whole experience, but they don't drink ayahuasca. So I agree with you, it's perfect.
I almost stopped midway through.
Yeah. So you can enter in trance during the workshops and do the work if you already have the practice.
I'm not sure if you've got some sort of crazy Google algorithm that works in the background. But both the first time and especially this time, it seems as if the group of people that I'm with, we're all just so spiritually connected. Yeah. In one of the sessions, Joe just mentioned that it's absolutely right that when you get 18 people together, you just automatically think there's probably going to be 2 or 3 of them that you're just not going to get on with. But it's not like that. It just seems that, and I know everybody's coming for a similar thing and they're probably in the right headspace. But it just seems that everybody who is here, and it doesn't matter. There's every single ethnicity. There was loads of different countries, sexuality. Religion wasn't anything. Everybody's coming from a different background, but everybody's sort of like really bonded together, along with everybody who's behind the scenes, you guys as well. So that is also really amazing. It's lovely to have my wife here, but I would have been equally comfortable just coming here on my own, even though I've never travelled anywhere really on my own before. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.